I'm going to go over the what I think is the best pistol for home defense. And I actually, one thing they usually go with is something the military uses a lot. That's one thing, because it's sometimes it can be a little more exotic stuff out there, might be a little bit better, but then again, if you got to get it fixed or you need a part for something, there's always a disadvantage. Now, there's actually two I really like. But there's one reason I chose this one, or a couple of reasons I chose this one. It's just a Beretta M9, they call it the M9 in the military. Now, I'm going to tell you about these mags. This actually only has the 15 rounds in it, and these are 147 grain ammunition. I only use a 20 round magazine because I don't fill it up all the way. And I can tell you one thing, I don't like these. Well, let me put it this way. You can usually stretch these. This magazine actually works pretty good. It does. But a lot of times when you get these magazines that are longer than the magazines that came with the pistol, like if the pistol came with a 15 round magazine or 10 round magazine or 7 or 8 or whatever, 17, you can maybe put a couple more in there, like if you get in other words, a little longer magazine. But when you start going like extra long magazines, what happens is, and I found this out just from experience, they don't feed as well. They might work sometimes, some of them work, some of them don't work. I don't like that shit, This one's a very reliable pistol, but I can tell you the one that I got, and some people say, oh, it's freaking old school shit, is a 1911 Colt, just a plain old Colt. No, nothing on it, like nothing special, man. It was like it's accurate as shit. It's freaking super accurate, super reliable. It never jammed on me, period. I mean, which is ridiculous. I don't think it ever, I can't remember any time it jammed on me. This one pretty much never, ever jammed, but I think it did once or twice, but might have been because of ammo, whatever, some ammo I don't like. The Colt always worked. The one thing I like about this one now is that there's a little trick I do, and I don't even want to reveal what it is, that somebody got this weapon, they wouldn't be able to work it. It's like my own little proprietary trick. But I can make it work real fast. And that's one thing I like about it. Now the Colt seems less ergonomic in your hands than this one. But I do something to the Colt, and it's just something I do. It's cheap. All I do is I take some leather and I wrap it around here, the leather shoelace, and I tie it off, and it just has a little more on the back of your hand. I don't know, it fits better. That's what I do, man. That's what I do. Actually, kind of like the Colt better, but the only reason I actually use that one more, I have this one out all the, at the ready all the time, is because it's, it's gotten a few more shots. The Colt actually have the one with the magazine that has one extra. I tried other magazines that had more than that, and it's like, they ain't reliable, man. The 7 or 8, and the plain old. Well, actually, they had the Smith & Wesson 1911. The 1911 is actually freaking really good. And you know what I think the attraction is, there people don't get it, is because initially it doesn't feel as, in the hand as it fits the hand as well. But actually, if you start shooting a lot, you start realizing that sucker's better. That's the one I actually shot the most. That's the pistol I shot the most. I shot the Glocks. I don't own a Glock. Now, I would probably more into buying a Glock now, maybe, possibly, because it became more popular, and it's also made in Georgia now. I think some places actually it's made in Georgia or something, but I really don't give a shit. I mean, to me, it's like, it becomes a little bit ridiculous, and I can tell you that I think, the Beretta's not bad. I've never seen where the frames crack or anything, I heard that bullshit, from way back, but once they start a rumor, and I think that was on some initial production with overly hot ammo or some bullshit. I mean, I didn't see any problems with that happening. But actually, I think the 1911. The only reason I actually keep this one more at the ready is because I have more rounds. The 9mm is just as good as the 357, pretty much. You know, what the hell's the difference, really? I can shoot. And the other thing is that I got it set where only I know how to make it work. That I can't really do with the 1911. Oh, I got a similar trick with that. Yeah, I guess I do have a similar trick with that, but it's not as slick as the way I got it set up on this one. I don't want to say what it is. But, tell you the truth, the one pistol I like the most is the 1911. It's almost like, you know, people come out and say, well, I'll tell you the truth, I'd probably like a Model 8 car, too, with a flat-headed Ford, you know. Well, the thing is, that weapon actually is very accurate. I don't have anything accurized on it. I got the different slide with the shorter barrel with it and stuff. And revolvers and stuff and other stuff. I got other shit. But it's like, I practically always use the 1911 and this Beretta all the time. Nothing fancy, you know what I mean? Nothing fancy. I swear to God, I think it's like when people read so much about stuff and they get into all these intricacies, they sell themselves on buying all this bullshit, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, you know, you don't need nothing fancy. Actually, anything that works right, don't even modify the freaking bullshit, to tell you the truth. I mean, I'm not into modifying any damn thing. I know a lot of people are, but I never really did competitive shooting. I did, like, a lot of shooting and stuff, and I'm very good at it. But, you know, you don't need nothing fancy. I mean, it gets to be stupid after a while, you know. And anything, but I don't know why, I just don't like the Glock. I just don't like it. I think it's because it became, like a buzzword, you know. And the other thing is, the military never carried a block. You know, since I was in the military, I wanted to definitely know the stuff the military uses versus some stuff that the military doesn't use. And that was my whole reason for getting. And the military does use the 45 in situations they actually need to use a pistol. The only reason they went to the 9mm was because of NATO. But, you know, anything works, for crying out loud. 380 or 22 even works, for crying out. You know, if you know how to shoot right, and a 22 even works. Anything works practically, man. So, but, you know, I'm not in a marketing game on this bullshit. I can tell you that, you know, some people got to change this, you got to put this. I just get whatever the freaking military uses, man. That's if they, or, you know, like Smith and Wesson, you know, freaking, or revolver, or Ruger Red Hawk or something, you know, like something standard, you know, real plain Jane. I don't go for nothing fancy. But actually, that's the way to do it, because the more people modify shit, if they don't know what they're doing, like some people do know how to modify stuff to make it work much, much, much better. The more people modify something, they're actually screwing up the wheel, you know? That's what most people do, because maybe some of these products work, but then they work better in certain situations, or it's got to be combined with other products. I don't screw with none of this shit, man. It's bone stock, man. That's what the hell it is. This thing, it works, man. It works, man. I wish I could trim trees with it. It'd be kind of fun, you know, instead of trying to climb up there on it. You know, I could shoot a branch down or something. It'd be kind of cool, but you're not allowed to do that, you know. They had a special round that can probably, like, just blow up on the tree branch or something like that, and you don't have to climb up there 35 feet up in the air to get the tree branch or some shit. That'd be kind of cool. Someday they might do that. If they start, you know, if I was a gun manufacturer, that's what I'd probably do. We'll have a special round that sticks in a tree, and then it blows up after a minute inside the wood, and then the tree bark, you know, the branch comes down or some shit. That'll save you a lot of work and make it be a very safe thing to do, you know. And if it misses the tree, you know, it doesn't go that far or something, you know. It automatically shuts off or something. You know, that'd be a nice thing to do if they start getting really technical with these weapons, because I look at a weapon as a tool. You know, I don't think of it as nothing. I don't think of like, you know, these movies and stuff. I don't even watch movies. You know how movies are? They always like dramatize all this bullshit, this and that, and it's whole, or you know, it's badass this or it's badass that. I think of it as a tool. I think of it as the same thing as a tool in my mechanic's toolbox. And now, actually, if you want to actually use lethal force or something, you can use a tool in your you know, out of your mechanic's toolbox too. I mean, there's a lot of shit you can probably do. You probably stick your a nail in your you know, your roofing nail or something. Turn the air pressure up and go. Pow, pow, pow. You know, I don't know. Maybe that'll be another thing too. But yeah. So anyway, you know, I know people look for this information, and there's a lot of videos out there on YouTube about, you know, what's the best handgun. And I know everybody's got all these different opinions. I'm going to tell you one reason the people that Glock got popular was because the cops use it. And I think the cops use it is because I don't want to insult them too much, but they don't know how to shoot usually. They like, I don't know what they do exactly, but they're not like, some of them are, I guess, but most cops just carry the gun, and they got to have it where they pull it out and it just shoots. You know what I mean? They don't want to have. They don't, like, in other words, they don't want to have to be fumbling around with other bullshit. They don't want to have, like, you know, locked and cocked like on a 45 or something. Like, they don't want to do that shit. You know, they want to just be, when they need the gun, they just want to be able to pull it out. It's gonna have extra high capacity to just use it. So once they started having it, the public started saying, "Oh yeah, let's have it." No, I'm not. I don't think it's that freaking special, man. To tell you the truth. That 1911 is freaking really good. Like, some people say, that was made in 1911. Yeah, I know it was designed in 1911, but it's been around. Actually, the 1911, I think, is still, I definitely was up to at least a few years ago, was the most popular handgun design used in competitive shooting. It's accurate. It never freaking doesn't jam for shit. I don't know. It's good. This thing's good too. Some people say it's... Actually, when the Marine Corps got these, I was actually saying, once you freaking fix the 1911s, because actually once these things got worn down a lot after a lot of use in the Marine Corps, they started having problems. You know, they were great when they were brand new. Was it back in the 80s or something when they first got these, you know, the M9 Beretta? But if they got old brand new I was always saying, why did they just get brand new 1911s? You know, I mean, but you know, I know why they did that though, is because they wanted to have the same ammunition round as NATO. I say screw NATO, man. Actually, the you know, just to diverge here a little bit on this subject, the Marine Corps should actually have, instead of that 5.56, they should have the 6.5 Grendel. I'm not in charge of that shit. I don't know why. You know what it is? They gotta tell you the absolute truth. There's a pile of ass kissers in the military on the top. The higher up they go, the bigger the ass wipes they are. You know, out of all the money they got in the budget to do this, to do that, you know, changing from the 5.56 to the 6.5 Grendel, basically it's well, you could say it's an upper receiver change, but it's less than that even. It's, you know, it's like the bolt, the magazines, and the barrel. And, you know, let's just give the armorer something to do. You know, they can change the stupid thing over. But everything in the military, it's a corporation. And, you know, so anyway, just want to put this out because anything the military uses or has been using for like a gazillion years is a damn good weapon for home defense. The 9mm has actually been around a gazillion years too. Beretta's been around a long time. I mean, but you want something that is so common and so wide, like anything the military adapts is usually good. I mean, almost guaranteed. So you got a really safe bet with that. I know Glocks aren't screwed up, but I don't really give a shit about them. And to tell you the truth, one of the things I didn't like about them initially, though, was that they were made in Austria. They weren't made in the USA. They weren't adapted by the military, so I was thinking, well, if I get really skilled in this bullshit thing, what the hell good is it if I'm not using it in the military, right? That was another thing I didn't like about it. And the other thing was, a lot of people, it's good, but then again, it's got a lot of advertising involved in it. It's not like it's screwed up or anything, but I don't want to give a shit about it, to tell you the truth. It's like the 1911, and people say it's no good, but it's like saying, I don't know, it's almost like saying a push rod design engine is no good, because it doesn't use double overhand cams or something, like, yeah, right, whatever. It's good. It's actually, that's the one I like shooting the most, the 1911. And I shot my friends. I had other people who were shooting. Some people had Glocks. And, I don't know. Most people do like the 1911, though, once they get experience with shooting. When if you picked up this gun, like, say, the Beretta or the Glock, you would say you like the way it feels better in your hand. If you pick up the 1911, it feels more squarish and stuff. But once you start shooting, different ones a lot, I found I was almost always shooting a 1911. That's why I'm very familiar with what, the 45 does. Actually, the 9mm too. So, but I like that one. I like that one the best, and I guess my partiality is that I shot this a lot because I wanted to be familiar with what we used in the military. I didn't give a shit about learning some other stuff and getting good with a Glock or some bullshit, because the Glock wasn't adopted by the military. And I guess if the Glock was adopted by the military, I'd be more in favor. But I don't particularly. I'm not too keen on it, to tell you the truth. Some people say it's fucked up for that, but I'm not. I think the 1911s, you got more bang for the buck. I know, it's got less capacity and shit like that, but fucking works great, man. It just doesn't jam. It's like something's 50 meters away and I gotta hit something that big, boom, it's done. No problem. 1911 does it every time. And I don't have nothing special. It's like plain Jane. Stock out of the box. No special triggers, no special grips. It's got this leather shit wrapped around near the top of the grip. The hell's in the bullshit safety. That thing? I hate that stupid thing. It doesn't have anything modified on it. Nothing. Just accurate as shit. I mean, it's like telling you, like, say, it's outdated. Yeah, okay, it's outdated. Alright, so it's outdated. Whatever. It works. It's fucking outdated. It's still fucking working. I don't know why people throw those words around, but that's usually what you hear from the arguments of, other people that say this and that. I mean, there's a lot of other good ones out there. The CZ Check one, and then, the Baby Desert Eagle and stuff. And, I don't know. But, I don't know. But, the one thing is, too, you want to test fire the shit out of your weapon before you even rely on it, because put a lot of rounds through it, and then the bitch is going to work. It's like, you just know it's going to work. You put a lot of rounds through it. And I'm going to tell you, though, honestly, when I remember when Glock was coming on the scene earlier, it wasn't like, there was like a movie gun. It was in the movies. It's got a Glock. Every badass had a Glock in the movies. Then the cops got it because it's, it's easy to just fire it right off the bat. You don't have to do as much, whatever, supposedly. But it almost became like a buzzword. And usually when something becomes like a buzzword and everybody's jumping on it, that tends to turn me off. Then I don't like it. I just like, it's like whatever's been tried and true for a gazillion years is like what I go with. So, the 1911, actually, I do like. I like that one the most. I just keep this one around most of for You know, if you ever had to use it. I know how to use it like no problem. Really super good, you know. So, but you know, stay away from gimmicks. That's probably the best thing I can tell you. Stay away from all gimmicks. Stay away from any kind of unpopular caliber. And I hate to say it, I'm really not too cool on block. I'm really not too keen on Glocks. I don't know. It's just because I remember when they were first coming out, it was almost like, oh, it's almost like a GQ thing. Oh, it's a Glock. Oh, it's a Glock. Okay. I don't know, before when I was shooting a lot, I was out shooting anybody out there, man. And no bullshit, that was a long time ago, but it was. They probably could be doing that shit again, no problem, I guarantee it. I'm sure I could shoot really good right now. You know, you'd say it's a decaying skill, but and not exactly all the way, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I was out shooting just about everybody as it was. I wasn't a competitive shooter. I was talking about with other people in the Marine Corps and stuff, you know? Yeah, so. But, you know, as far as, like, you know, whatever you got, screw it. I mean, it's fine. It don't really matter too much. You know, Smith & Wesson or Ruger revolvers are fine. Nothing wrong with them. As a matter of fact, I think if I don't even bother with concealed carry permit. Say if I had one of those or something like that, you know, I was going to do a concealed carry. Like, I don't want to give a shit about that, you know. I mean, you know, maybe that would be used. Maybe that's something I should think about. But I would probably have the little revolver, 38 Detective Special. I'd probably have that thing. People say it doesn't have enough shots. Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's got enough shots. You know, I can always use it as like a a thing to beat them with or something if I have to. You know, the gun's still a hunk of metal, man. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's like you know, people get in these what do you call it? They read the technicalities, they read all the books, and they read this and they read that, and they're like, you know, oh yeah, gotta have this, and oh this is this, and they see the the gun doing that, and it's, man, there's so much marketing out there, man. Actually, I tell you the truth, if it was in the military, in the field, in a situation where you could probably get dirt in a gun or some shit, I'd probably take the 1911. Yeah, I'd probably take the 1911. You know, if it's in a condition where it can get rotten weather or some shit, I'd take the 1911 over the Beretta, even though they don't use it right now. So, but for like home defense, I guess the Beretta's good too. I mean, the Glock is good too. I mean, whatever. But I don't know. I'm not really partial on those things because I think it became, when it first came out, it reminded me of like GQ Glock. You know, even though they're really good. You know. So is Beretta. So is a lot of other shit. But that 1911 is accurate as shit. And just consistent. It's like ding, ding, ding. You know, it's just consistent, man. And a 230 grain round is like very strong. You know. So you can go old school and you'd probably be better off in a lot of ways without all the fancy tech. And even if you get a Glock or whatever, you get some, pro comp, freaking Smith & Wesson or some bullshit. Don't change it. Just leave it the hell alone. That's probably the best advice I can give you, because there is so much bullshit that's out there they sell for these guns, and you got different this, you got that, this. Just make sure you're freaking familiar with how to use it. It's the most important thing. There's so many gimmicks out there. I know some people are gonna really get pissed off at me on this video because I don't know. I think a lot more people buy Glocks. I know it's a very good gun, but I think a lot of people buy Glocks because it is also a buzzword. There's a lot of other good guns out there. The Israeli, baby, what the fuck you call that? Desert Eagle. Jerico, whatever the hell it is, the 45. That's a real good one. That Czech ZZ, whatever the hell it is, that's a really good one. Nothing wrong with them, but it's like Glock, 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 Glock. I mean, everything else is just about as good. I mean, it's not just about as good, it's the same damn thing. But somehow, it's got imprinted in people's minds, man. Partly from movies and partly because the police adopted the Glocks. Is where, people are doing it, they're getting on that shit. I mean, I'll tell you the truth, man, if you can buy a freaking gun that's high quality for $250, $300 versus paying like $800-900 and it's basically the same shit, go for the one that's $250, $300. Serious. Because there's a lot of them out there for about that much money. They're fine. Ain't nothing wrong with them, man. Nothing wrong with them at all. So I call it keep it simple, stupid. And this thing the only reason I got the 20 round magazine in this bullshit is because I want 15 rounds in it, and I don't want to have this spring constantly crushed all the way, because if it's a 15 round magazine, it would be constantly having that spring pressure on it. So, and then I could put 10 in there, but then I figure, well, I got the full 15. But, and it does work. This one actually does work with 20. But I'd stay the hell away from a lot of the extra high capacity magazines. Not saying that they should be outlawed or anything, but they usually don't work right because they're not designed for the damn. In other words, if the freaking damn weapon was going to work with a 20 or 25 round magazine or a 30 round magazine, the manufacturer would offer them, and usually they don't. They just give you like 15 or 17 or whatever. It's usually plenty. So, anyway, just some practical, simple BS on this because, I don't know, I'm going to tell you again, man, I shot a lot of different pistols, man, and I keep going back to the 1911. And I understand why people don't like that weapon when they first pick it up, because it doesn't feel as aerodynamic, but I kind of wrapped this, to me it does feel aerodynamic. It feels ergonomic. I wrapped this leather strap bullshit and shoelace shit around the top. I don't know, it just seems to work good. But I'm very accurate with that bitch. Very, very, very accurate, that bitch. Extremely, and it's very, very reliable. And I didn't do shit to it. And I got the bullshit like thing that makes it, you can put the shorter barrel on the top. I don't use that too much. And I got some other crap for it, some other springs and shit, but I just put it right back to stock. Stock works great. So, keep it simple, stupid. That's called reliability. It's your number one thing. And I guess anything works, but I don't know. I'm very, very partial to what the military uses. When you're in the military, or you was in the military, you want to be good at what they use. You don't want to be good at other shit some other people use, even if it's good, right? You want to be good at what we use, right? USA stuff. Anyway, over now.